Hey everybody, the Freelancer back again to do another Sectaurs related video for you. This is slowly becoming the Sectaurs network, really. Not that that's a bad thing. There's not enough of them on YouTube, I think, so who knows. Any case, fulfilling my promise to y'all, I wanted to go ahead and go over the first issue of the Sectaurs comic book. Now, there were only 8 issues in the entire series. So much like everything else with this toy line, even this was far too short-lived. Still, it was a great comic. Much like the Transformers comics, when compared to its cartoon counterpart, this is far more mature. I'll say this now, the storyline in this is vastly different from what we got in the animated show. For starters, it actually, instead of just mentioning the Dark Domain where characters like General Spy Drax and Skeeto and Waspax came from, this actually not only tells you about the Dark Domain, but you begin in, let's see, Synax, which is the capital city of the Dark Domain. So they actually establish that there aren't just these regions, there are actual established cities and ruling factions within this world. It's, again, a divergence from just the typical, this race is good, this race is bad, and here's why. There's actual politics involved to it. It's not just, oh, they're from the Shining Realm, so they're the good guys. Oh, they're from the Dark Domain, so they're the bad guys. In fact, when this story begins, there is a truce and a peace between the two nations. And what their biggest concern are these things called, these people that are labeled as heretics. And this is where there's the biggest divergence between the cartoon and this comic. In that the heretics that we're concerned about are looking for knowledge on what were known as the Ancients. The Ancients are the people who built the Hive, which is sitting over there, completely and utterly finished now. But there's more than one Hive. There are multiple Hives throughout the world of Symbion. Now, in the cartoon, of course, everybody's looking for it. Everybody wants to know, where is this Hive? Whoever controls this Hive can control the fate and destiny of Symbion. In this, nobody wants to find the Hive, at least not at first. These heretics that they're so concerned about, in fact, here's one of them. There. That's a heretic. Kind of looks like a heretic, doesn't he? I don't know, whatever a heretic looks like. When this story begins, the Dark Domain is attacking a village, claiming that they're there to find a heretic. Well, they think they're going in and they're just taking over the village. Meh. They'll just lie and say they were looking for a heretic. Well, it turns out there actually was one in this village. And Hulk, he actually figures there really was one in that village. So much so, in fact, that he goes looking for him and winds up following that particular heretic until he comes to the Hive. Now, General Spy Drax, Waspax, Skeeto, they have no idea what this thing is. The only reason that Skulk, why do I keep forgetting his name? But the only reason Skulk knows what it is because he's tortured tons of prisoners who were labeled as heretics in order to find out just what it is that they're worshipping and what it is that they're trying to bring back to the world of Symbion. So he finds out about the Hives of the Ancients. The Hives, it turns out, more or less, using the technology inside, they control the weather. So, and this isn't just normal, like, oh, we can make it rain, oh, we can make it snow. This will release, like, violent cataclysms upon their world. Now, the thing is, again, at least the way it appears in this, nobody really knows that it can do that, with the exception of people who are the heretics. They're also called keepers. Anyway, now, when word comes to the Shining Realm about the attack on the village, the council and everyone all the ruling bodies, don't want to just blame the Dark Domain, because again, they have a big piece with them. So they don't want to screw that up by just going around and pointing fingers. So when it's suggested that they were the ones who caused it, of course everybody says that's impossible. So then somebody else says, well, they were there at this village claiming they were looking for a heretic, and everybody goes, oh, well, it was the heretics who did it. They're the problem. They're the ones who are causing all this trouble. And we're then, well, before then we've been introduced to him, but we really get to find out about the character of Mantor. Now, Mantor, in the series, in the cartoon, he already had a map of a path to one of these ancient hives. This one, he's been secretly studying the hives, because if anybody knew how much information he actually had on the ancient civilizations, he would be branded a heretic and sentenced to death. He doesn't want anybody to do that, needless to say. But of course he confides it all in Prince Dargon, since Prince Dargon's father is currently missing, so that technically makes Dargon ruler of the Shining Realm, though he leaves it to his uncle. Like I say, there's so much more complexity with this than there ever was in the cartoon. And the cartoon was still fairly decent. In any case, he explains all about the weather and how it can be controlled by these hives. Or rather, that it can be. He doesn't know how it does it, it just does. He explains all of this to Dargon, and while he's doing so, one of these giant storms comes rolling through. It was set off by Skulk, just kind of playing around with the controls, trying to figure out what was going on. He starts messing with it, and it causes this giant cataclysm. And for some reason, apparently, when it rains in Symbion, it's bright red. Red tornado, anybody? I don't know why, but it's actually pretty dramatic. I like it. It's kind of cool looking. But you can see here where Skulk actually is messing around inside the hive, what he's found. Now, this comic, of course, you've probably noticed by now, at least in the cartoon, they had pupils. This one, they're just like the toys. They don't have pupils, so it's all that just much more offsetting. The other issue I have with this entire line, and it didn't just happen with this comic, it also, I've noticed it in a lot of things like He-Man and so forth. These people are very, very, how should I put it, loose with their words. They just, if they're in the middle of doing something, they'll explain to you exactly what they're doing, and why they're doing it, and what cause it's for that they're doing it. And it makes it, unfortunately, a little bit of a boring read. If you don't become invested in everything that's kind of going on in the background, if you're just going by what you're reading, you're going to get tired of it. So I think that just further added to the detriment of this particular issue. But long and short of it, that's what happens in it, is we find out who all our main characters are, which are the toys I've been going over, so I'm not going to bother getting into that one too much. I'm more just going to stick to the plot. And we're introduced to the idea that the hives are kept very secretive and that no one wants involved with them. Again, a major departure from the cartoon where everybody was after it. Everyone wanted this thing. Though now we find out why people don't want it. In there, we never really found out why people did want it. I just confused myself, so I hope you guys followed that. In any case, this has been just a quick little overview of issue number 1 of the Sectaurs comic. I'm going to go into issue 2, the Spydrax versus Dargon issue. And in time, I'm actually going to give a rundown of the cartoon itself. But that's going to be for a later time when I can actually get a hold of somebody. There are some fan-made DVDs out there. They're only like $5, so I'm probably going to go ahead and buy one of them so I can really sit and watch the show and give you all a breakdown of it. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this. This has been the Freelancer with issue 1 of Sectaurs. I'll catch you guys later.